It's literally this hat, the back of my head, and you can see a little bit of the JP jersey, not that much.
Attack on Titan was one of my first full anime I've watched all the way through. Chainsaw Man was so weird.
Yeah,
Follow Chris Angkico on IMDb.
I have some eons credits for IMDb. Like JJK, like Shibuya.
Oh, hell no.
Like if you lived in Shibuya, like your entire bloodline is gone. It's just
Everything
just
bomb,
explosion.
And welcome back to another episode of Pinoys versus the World. My name is Harald Hyllseth.
My name is Chris Angkico.
And Chris, we're in the thick of it right now. We're in the fall time. You're wearing your jackets.
Yeah.
I'm wearing brown. That's how you know it's fall in the city.
Yeah. No, the thickness doesn't matter. It's just you're wearing brown.
It's a very fall color. Feel like a little bit of tan on the shoes, a little bit black on the pants. And most importantly, we're not wearing any Mariners gear. Rest in peace to our boys. If you've been following our short-standing series of following the Mariners along their journey to what we had hoped for as a World Series championship, did not happen. Game 7 happened. And Game 7, I think, will always traumatize me. But Chris, I feel like we do have to wrap up this now 4 or 5 episode long conversation about our beloved Seattle Mariners and how much we love them. But I know we've been recovering. We've been in pure recovery mode for the last 2 weeks.
I mean, that was a devastating. We watched the Game 7 Victory Hall. You know, everything was going great the first 7 innings, and then obviously Springer hits the home run, and then it was just. I mean, my reaction was the same. I was nervous the whole time, but then once Springer hit the home run, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it
yeah.
figures. Well, something we haven't had a chance to talk about on the pod, because between this and the One Battle After Another, which will come out before this, we had just chatted about a few wins in the ALCS, not a life-changing experience like Game 5 of the ALCS that you and I both had a chance to go to. I'm going to throw up some videos here. Wow, that was a memory.
I gotta send you some videos because I got some stuff in the pen. Which was very fun. Yeah, there's on the Geno home run. There is a tiny bit of it where you can see the back of my head.
We're gonna throw it up.
So hopefully you can find. I mean, in the edit, I'll help Harald find it. But
big old red circle around Chris.
It's literally this hat, the back of my head, and you can see a little bit of the JP jersey, not that much.
Yeah.
But then our friend Nima, he's right next to me, and you can see him.
You see
better.
all of Nima's back.
You can see Nima much better.
Yeah.
But I was just seeing some of the people that are in the shot on the TV broadcast. I'm like, damn. I talked to that guy afterward. I gave that guy.
You saw that dog? What was the name of the dog again?
Oh, Oatmeal the Adventure Dog.
Shout out Oatmeal.
I'm gonna find the Insta. I got a video of Oatmeal the Adventure Dog, which I will also send you. And that is somewhere on his social media, I think, because he was he was like, hey, can you send me that video you took of my dog?
Oh yeah.
And he's advertising his TikTok. He's like, Oatmeal the Adventure Dog.
Hey, follow
Oatmeal the Adventure Dog.
Follow Oatmeal.
He was just like, Oatmeal the Adventure Dog. He's like, hey, you got TikTok? The guy was like, hey, you got TikTok? You got TikTok? You got TikTok? Oatmeal the Adventure Dog.
The true telltale sign of an adventurer, but not an adventurer, more of an influencer. The dog is an adventurer.
Yes.
Oh man. But wow, no better way to end this year as a Mariners fan than saying, please, Josh Naylor, for the love of God,
yes,
sign. Well, not that it's his. Give him money, John. John Stanton, this goes out to you. I want to see 6 years, 180. Is that too much? No, that's what our king deserves.
Probably not for a first baseman, but honestly, for Naylor, I mean, he should get the key to the city.
Oh yeah,
he should become mayor.
His baby and his wife, give them all a key to the city. Because that was some dad power. He got some dad power in the playoffs.
Josh Naylor is maybe the best first baseman we've ever had.
Oh, seriously.
He was here for 3 months.
No disrespect to John Olerud, but you know how it is.
But I mean, this is if you're the first baseman on the best Mariners team, the Mariners team has gotten the furthest. I think you can say you're the best first baseman.
Very true.
In this case, because he was such a big part of it.
He was a beast.
He was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
There's I think a lot of people around here don't see a future for the Mariners without Josh Naylor in it. Yeah.
And the Instagram comment section on Cal Raleigh's most recent
Godspeed.
post would tell you that.
Yeah.
Chris just told me about that as we walked in.
Yeah.
Devastating. So I'm going to have our little corner of the internet.
Wishing you nothing but the best. Godspeed.
And I'm like, Josh,
what do you mean?
You mean Godspeed to all of you? Because you're going to be a member of the team?
Yeah.
Well, this is funny because, wow, if you've waited through our Mariners chats at the beginning of each episode, we appreciate you because we love our M's. But obviously today we are here to chat about Chainsaw Man, the movie, Reze arc. And shout out the weebs, shout out the non-weebs who might have seen this movie as their first foray into Chainsaw Man. One of my personal faves, Chris, and an anime that thankfully you have watched the first season of. Unlike Demon Slayer, where you had seen some of the seasons going up. But I'm just going to throw it over to you before we get into any background of what was, at very baseline, an incredible experience. Really fun in IMAX. We saw it yesterday with the squad, with roommate Chris, not you, but we had two Chris's and Jonas. We all had a chance to watch in honestly, like, what, we're in week 2 of its release, or just past the first week of its release. Oh my gosh, it feels like it's gone by really fast.
It's still the first week. It's still the first week right now.
By the time we're recording this.
Yeah. Time we're recording, it's been out for like 5-6 days.
5-6 days.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's still, yeah.
I mean, directed by a new director as well, so we have a new art style, Tatsuya Yoshihara, and obviously the mangaka, the famed mangaka.
Obviously
to all my people out there who know.
To a big anime fan like myself.
Tatsuki Fujimoto, one of the goats, and a show that rather a movie that's based on another manga by Fujimoto. Look Back. We had a chance to do that on the RSS feed earlier this year. Maybe we'll transfer that little mini review over to a video and post it on the channel some point in the future. But we really liked Look Back. But here we go. MAPPA as well. Shout out JJK season 3 coming up. But I'm going to throw it over to you, Chris, because I know you've got some kind of interesting middle ground here where now you've experienced all of Chainsaw Man, the anime that's out so far. And yeah, I just want to hear what you thought about it before we get into the nitty gritty of who did what and where we ended up in this story.
Well, I'd say it's probably one of the more accessible anime movies that I've seen. Like, sure, I've seen the show, but a lot of the details, like the bits and pieces of it, I was sort of reminded of during the movie, but I didn't really like have like big recollection of until like I watched a recap and then like came in whatever. But like,
shout out Crunchyroll for posting the entire season 1 on YouTube.
Oh, they did?
Rare dub.
I didn't even know that.
Part 1, part 2 technically is what they did it, and they did like what, hour and a half, because it's like 3 hours is like all of season 1. It's like 12 episodes.
Yeah, but even though like I've seen the show, it's not really a prerequisite, I'd say, for recommending it to people. I would recommend it to people like completely blind. Even if you never you didn't want to go back and want to watch the show, or you didn't want to go any like further afterward. It's really not a big deal because, again, I think as a movie, as a standalone hour 40-minute like experience, it's actually like very good. Like it is just about what it's like to be, 16 years old and in Denji's case, super horny.
I mean, the mind of like a 5-year-old in the body of a 16-year-old.
And it's very much about like, emotional manipulation, which is something I was not expecting. That's the thing. We've talked about the, like the Demon Slayer movie, like you said, we saw that and we talked about it. And I very famously, at least to us during our discussion, really didn't have a lot to add in terms of like, the lore of the thing or like how it compares to blah, 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 blah. I don't
more concerned about getting away from the mosquitoes than the actual content.
Yeah, I was more concerned, definitely more concerned about the mosquitoes. But this one, it's like, again, the show itself is shorter and the movie's much shorter. And I think it's all like better. Like it does more per minute than Demon Slayer does, especially the movie. Like the Demon Slayer movie doesn't really progress the plot very much of anything. But Chainsaw Man, I felt like it was a very like, it is an arc. It truly is an arc from like beginning to end. It felt like you did something and like Denji like actually had like an experience that he can take with him like into the future. That's obviously it's in manga already, but like even into like, obviously the anime when that comes out. But yeah, no, I was very satisfied. I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Yeah.
And that is just music to my ears, Chris, because the more of the friend group that and look, it's not like you all aren't the minority in the friend group of people who don't watch all of the ridiculous anime that me, Banton, and Bradley will try to dive into. But Chainsaw Man is one of those ones that at least I was at the very beginning of my fandom or getting into reading more manga past like, I think I've talked about on the pod before, anything past Ghibli films, or maybe like Attack on Titan was one of my first like full anime I've watched all the way through. Chainsaw Man was so weird and so like jarring to my just basic mind at the time that I was like, not to say that you read it or you watch Chainsaw Man, you're on some absolute third plane of existence that you just can't even fathom unless you've actually seen the show or read the manga. But I think it's so special because Fujimoto himself is such a like quirky eccentric guy who has so much lore. I mean, I'm going to throw up the video of him. I'm sure this is the obligatory Fujimoto floated for a second. This is like a really famous YouTube video of him where he posted himself saying that he could levitate, and he low-key did it for a second. He just jumped really high, and that's the video. And that's the genius that brought to you this movie, basically in association with MAPPA. So anything leading up to this, for me, I came in with high expectations, and they were 100% met. I'd probably say even 110% met. Because when you're talking about a movie that's covering about 14 chapters of a manga that we were just chatting about, I just read chapter 218, The Real Ones Know, oh my god. But Chainsaw Man, the manga, is far in the future past this arc. And it's already like really difficult source material to adapt. And obviously it took MAPPA years to even do season 1, but now you change the style of the art direction, and you're basically keeping, you know, the same idea of Chainsaw Man because you're not changing any of the source material. But there's a lot that had to go into this from the side of, I mean, shout out the MAPPA animators. I mean, we know what y'all went through for JJK season 2 and giving us a masterpiece, but that did not sound fun. So for them to seem like they were taking a bit more time with this film, it changed because of Japanese perception of the first season of Chainsaw Man being a bit more cinematic, maybe a bit more westernized. There's more use of like 3D animation and stuff that is not necessarily something that is like an anime style, like just directly from the art form of Fujimoto, which is what this movie, I think, is a huge achievement from the very beginning before we get into the plot of it. Reze arc, devastating the first time you read it through. And I just think the way that it was adapted was nearly perfect. I mean, there's always going to be differences between reading and seeing it for the first time. But Chris, it's getting a lot of, outside of us both really liking it coming out of it, it's getting a lot of love online, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for what that's worth, 4 to 5s in Letterboxd, 8.7 on IMDb. Shout out IMDb. You ever go to IMDb for your rating checks?
I have an IMDb.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah.
Follow Chris Angkico on IMDb.
I have some Eon's credits for IMDb. So I was very surprised.
We're gonna throw that up.
I forgot exactly how I figured that out, but I was like, wait. I was like, I'm just gonna Google my own. It's like Googling your own name, you know, see what happens.
Yeah.
But like IMDbing your own name, I was like, oh man, they actually have my Eons.
Yeah. I
was like, damn. So
that's crazy.
I'm already there. I'm already there.
This guy's already up there.
Yeah, I'm already there.
Well, eventually,
Yeah.
that's the end goal. 1 credit on IMDb.
Yeah, we gotta get
involved.
a few views on this, and then we'll figure that one out. But
let's go.
But yeah, I mean, again, like it's a very universal thing. It's not like you don't have to get super. Again, you don't have to dig deep into the anime for you to understand like the actual like story. And I think that's kind of the beauty of the movie, I guess. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got enough of the intro talk out of here
Yeah.
because there's plenty of spoilers ahead, and I'm going to have to bite my tongue. I promise no manga spoilers in this entire episode. We're not doing that. But I will reference some stuff that happens in the manga during this arc, probably as we get into the spoiler conversation about Chainsaw Man movie. Chainsaw Man, the movie - Reze arc after this short break. And we're back, Chris, to talk about the Reze arc, obviously here on the back of this wonderful t-shirt that Chloe Giggs got for me in Japan. I'm sure it's available now. I'm not going to plug Uniqlo, but shout out. We just did.
Oh, that's a Uniqlo
That's a
shirt?
Uniqlo shirt. Look at that.
Okay.
This is a very, very great stop still from the movie. I really wanted to wear it to the showing yesterday, but I was like, damn, I feel like I'd be a walking spoiler if I just had these 2 frames on my back as I'm walking past people trying to see the same film as me. But we're here, obviously to talk about our girl Reze, our boy Denji. 2 tragic characters. Obviously Denji, the titular protagonist for all of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man.
Titular.
There is going to be a lot of innuendos. Yeah.
The nipular protagonist.
The nipular protagonist of Chainsaw Man. The man who has, just a little string coming out of his chest. Normal stuff. But I have one big question for you. Why does everyone want Chainsaw Man's heart, but no one wants Denji's heart? Chris, something that really hits home for everyone.
That is the best line in the
watches.
entire movie. When I heard that, I was
Spot
like, wow,
on.
that's bars. That's also a spoiler.
Big spoiler. If you didn't know, we're in we're in spoiler mode. Everything that comes after this spoiler. Denji from his birth has just always been someone that's been abused, never got to go to school, been abused for work. I mean, obviously at a certain point he had to he like gave up his eyeball and several body parts just to keep money flowing in, and then eventually is saved by the Pochita chainsaw devil. You'll learn more about that hopefully coming up in the next arcs. But Pochita, our favorite. And they become one, and that's what kind of starts off his whole spree about what he talks about in this film is like, why does every girl I meet want to kill me? And that's crazy when you think about who Denji is as a character. And I think this movie does a really good job of not only balancing Denji and Reze's side arcs, but a lot of like really fun stuff in between like Angel and Aki. We get like more stuff about Aki. Power is doing her own thing on the side. We have a Makima. Maybe we should start there. The Makima has a Letterboxd account conversation because they go on a date. Denji goes on his first date with a girl, and it's with Makima, someone who I do not think is right for him, but I don't think anyone thinks that he is right for him after, or she is right for him after this conversation. What do you think about their date at the very beginning of the movie? Especially what they saw like 10 movies or something like that?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, we're just going to go movie hopping today. So they see a bunch of different movies, and then she doesn't react to any of them. And then they're like, yeah, all these movies suck. And then they watch one where they're the only person in the theater, but it's obviously like, I think it's implied it's a super indie movie.
Yeah, versus the big blockbusters.
Like, oh, I was the feelings of art and all this other stuff. It was like, makes sense. It's like, yeah, the very art house one. Not many people are going to see in the theater. I just thought that was funny. It was just not what I was expecting. I was like, okay, like Makima's just a big cinephile.
Well, it's big cinephile, and they're like also like MAPPA is like animating this like film.
Yeah, they're doing fake
animating
movies.
people watching it while we watch someone watching an animated movie.
Yeah, they're animating fake movies and fake crowds watching fake screens. Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
I something really underrated about Chainsaw Man in every form that it comes in. A lot of the background characters I think are obviously very NPC as they would be in any story that revolves around one or two protagonists. But there's something about the detail of their faces and the emotions that they're able to convey through the art that's really fun as well. Because it's like Chainsaw Man. We were talking about this before. I think Jonas might have had he was like maybe Attack on Titan might be worse than this. I'm sure people could put some. If you're watching this, comments below. Is there a world in manga or fiction that's worse than Chainsaw Man's world? A world where the devils get stronger with the more fearful humans become of them. Terrifying. But like, the world is still going on, even though there's this like scary, like that's the thing. Like if we lived in the world of Chainsaw Man, I could see everything in this being like super realistic. Like not to say anyone could be Denji. I think that's still like way far away from the reality of the thing where Denji is such a unique case, even in this like fucked up world that's basically hell come to earth, and you're still like having to deal with the fact that there's another hell that is more terrifying than this reality they live in. But it's probably better that we follow these characters versus the NPCs. But yeah, at the very end of it, obviously their date comes to an end, and it's very like, I don't know. The Makima subplot of this entire story will always be one of my favorite parts about the Reze arc, and I think they got that spot on in the movie. There is this sense of horror with her, and that's like very unsettling. You kind of get that from season 1, but I'm almost wondering, like, for you, Chris, because these are just my thoughts. I'm like a fanatic about this. What's the first thing you pulled out of the general story of Denji and Reze after leaving the theater? Like, what was that like thing that really pulls you into this movie? Versus like you were talking about with Demon Slayer, like, Demon Slayer just doesn't give you as much plot progression. It's more kind of about not disrespect to the animators. It's not Ooga Booga, but it's like a lot more fighting and animated fighting more than like plot progression.
Well, yeah, I mean, Denji's whole thing is like, I feel like the thing he's really dealing with personally is like his relationships with women.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, he's just like, it's like the hierarchy of needs. It's like he just wants to cop a feel at first. And then like,
since day one,
in the show, it's like, power, the horned lady, she's like, oh, you want to touch boobs. Well, if you do this thing for, I'll let you touch them. And then he does it. But then obviously there's like the cup or whatever. They're not as big as he thinks they are. But like, he just thinks that's a very like disappointing experience. And it's not like all, not what you might see on the internet. It's all cooped up to be sort of thing. There's like other stuff to it. And like, he kind of realizes that there should be probably more to this than just copping a feel sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I just love, it's very interesting. I do like, you see a lot of movies where like the whole, like the sexuality and like, oh, like the hot women and all this stuff. It's like there, but they don't like draw attention to it, even though they want you to pay attention to it. I like the fact that in Chainsaw Man and like Denji's character is like, it is like explicit. It is like a big thing for his character. Mm-hmm. It's like, he's thinking like, we're seeing like, all these women, and he's like all like the projections of them, and like, oh, like they're so sexy and all this other stuff. I like that that's like a very explicit part of his character, and like they're acknowledging like, yes, there are like half naked women, and he's like thinking about it all the time.
There's a very specific scene I'm sure you're thinking of right now where they're like all the women in his life, including the one guy, Angel, which is always just such a funny thing about this show. It's like,
Like,
yeah,
he's a
cool.
guy.
Angel, I'm not into guys. But yeah, Angel always kind of like looks and talks like he might be a girl, but yeah, it's just Angel. And they move kind of fast on past that, but you get Kobeni, Power, obviously Makima and Reze, all women who in certain parts of their lives have tried to either take advantage or kill Denji. But then you kind of get to a point with him where even that is like shown in a way where it's like, this is all up here. This is all happening up in Denji's mind. Like all these like super, if he's calling Makima cute, when you have like 50 Denji faces like on the screen and he's freaking out, you're like almost seeing a third or like a fourth of this movie through the eyes of Denji, but purely how he perceives kind of what's happening to him, like up in his mind, which is like great for the animation and the art too, because you can be like pretty creative with it. But the lingerie scene's crazy. Yeah. And it really shows you like how fucked up his headspace is. Where on top of like being Chainsaw Man and like he's like, oh, I'm starting to finally figure out my place at work. I'm like getting over some issues with my friend and my coworker that I live with, and like I really want to do this. But now he's like really having his first genuine connection with a girl, with Reze. Maybe we should just jump into talking about Reze finally.
Again, it's like he believes that it's genuine because it's like again the whole thing is like emotional manipulation. Because Reze comes in. I didn't know. Obviously, again, I come from this knowing nothing. Like you've already read the stuff. But coming in, I was like, it's very easy to see like, oh, she's like coming on like super strong. Yeah. Something is up. I don't know what it is, but it's just like she immediately starts talking to him like she's like super into him and like, oh, I just like you so much. And all.
What would you do if you were just trying to avoid? Because he was about to drink the coffee out of that can. He was about to do some degen shit.
Yeah,
classic Denji.
Like I was just thinking about that too. I was like, I'd be like, no,
get out.
Well, it's like clearly something like this is not how 95 to 99% of women are going to treat you at all. Mm-hmm. And at the 1%, you're like, what's happening? Yeah. You want something from me.
There's
and
something
I don't know what
on.
it is. But like, obviously in Denji's like naivete, also again, he's 16 and he's very explicitly horny.
Oh yeah.
Like those are two things you can definitely take advantage of.
Well, his goals are like, I just need to eat, I need a place to sleep, and one day I want to have a girlfriend or have sex.
Yeah,
like that's pretty much, those are his driving, throughout the entire story, the driving gears behind what he does as Chainsaw Man.
And again, I don't know what Reze's like, what exactly the dossier on Denji was going into it. Yeah. But clearly she's like, oh, I can, we don't need to like directly engage him at first. I need to like basically get his guard down completely so that he trusts me. And then I can, later cut his tongue, saw his tongue with my mouth
in the name of the Soviet Union.
In the name of the Soviet Union.
Big spoiler. But, I'm gonna throw up.
That's the thing. Go ahead. At the very end, but like, I know. I just enjoyed where like you clearly see like Denji is. This is gonna go wrong for Denji, and then he's gonna have to like learn a lesson.
But Denji doesn't know, and that's the devastating part. Is that my guy is so genuinely like
dramatic irony.
Yeah, he's not like in love with this girl in the way that I think he's kind of faking a love with Makima, or like. Maybe he's been like, it's like my heart belongs to Makima, but he's having like a genuine connection with this girl, Reze. I think that is reminiscent more than any of his other relationships. Again, even up until the current point of the manga where it's like, this is someone who I feel like in a different world, in a different time where devils don't exist, that like Denji actually would maybe go on his first date with like Reze, would like experience things for the first time with a girl that is his age and like of his similar experience, which is always like when you're younger. It's like you said, like we were talking about that. I don't know if you already mentioned it at the top of the episode, but it's like a lot of Letterboxd comments seem like general jargon about like this arc is what it was like to be like in high school. It gives a lot of vibes of that. Note on the voice acting. I think I've already said it, voice acting is incredible in this entire series, but the addition of Reina Ueda, who also was Kanao in Demon Slayer, big month for Ueda. But there is like a distinct style of her voice acting that really makes it feel like she's like a girl and Denji's a boy. And that's just something that you don't get with his other relationships with people. Like, I think it's like the beauty and like what makes me on my second viewing of this movie, this being the second time I've seen it. Because the first time I saw it, I was like just trying to get a vibe out for like how things compare to like how I read it. And then the second time got a chance to appreciate more of those little things like the voice acting and the animation style that really made you believe that these were just two crazy kids just like hanging out with each other and kind of falling in love. Even though I agree with you, obviously the initial, and she says it as much at the end of the movie. Like, do you really think I like actually liked you? I believe she did after a certain point. Like there's step one, which is getting into Denji's like space so that you can get his heart. But even Reze, who's also insinuated to be a 15 or 16-year-old girl who's been in this like underground Soviet Union, like, you know, what do they call it? Like, it's like a petri dish, or they call them guinea pigs, and they're just trying to make them into like weapons, basically. And the bomb devil, the bomb woman, going up against Chainsaw Man, like right here, two of the most powerful devils. And it's like, obviously, Reze is like much more in tune with her powers. Denji is constantly learning about his powers. But I don't know. It's like their relationship's so freaking like devastating, because it was like the two kids. You were like, I'm really rooting for you two kids. Like at the midway point when they're in the school, I'm like, we can get over to talking about the more horror elements of the school. But I was like, damn, I really feel bad for both of them right now in a way I originally only felt bad for Denji.
Yeah, they kind of are the same person in a lot of ways. Like they both like were like abused or had like traumatic childhoods
in their youth.
In their youth.
And they're still children.
And so like then, you know, they get their powers, but like, you know, Denji gets picked up by like the right people to be around. Yeah. And even though he's still got a lot to learn, he's like with people again, like, you know, he says to Reze, you know, like, you know, I'm starting to get some respect at work.
Yeah.
I think people like me, sort of thing. I don't like, I would want to run away with you, but like I don't want to necessarily do that. And again, that's a very like universal thing where it's like, you know, even if that was like a genuine thing, it's like, oh, you know, let's move away together to some place, or like where the girl's like family is or something, where it's like, oh, but I have like a life here. Like I have to like, you know, I have to choose between how much do like I really love this person? Like how much would I want to like leave? Would I be willing to leave?
Yeah.
What I built somewhere else to go try something new? And again, that's not a question that he has to answer, but it's something he has to consider in that moment, which I think, again, a very universal like thing that people have to deal with all the time. I'm sure a lot of people are doing it right now, like right at this moment. But yeah, so again, that was like my main appeal. And then again, he's got that community of people that over obviously the first season, you know, he works with, and even at the end of this, you know, they'll get back to work and stuff. But yeah, I just enjoyed it. It was like kind of a defining, like, you know, kind of a linchpin moment for Denji to sort of not only figure out what like more of his powers are like during the battle with Reze and the bomb devil, but like just being like, oh, you know, who am I? Like what is my life? What do I want my life to be like? Who do I want to spend it with?
He's having like a crazy crisis of like identity that he hasn't had in the show up until this point throughout this entire film. But in that one moment where, huge spoiler alert, especially right now, but like we maybe had said, maybe it's not even a spoiler because we already said, but he gets his tongue bit off. It's like, because that's the moment where I'm like really like Reze is written to be the character that you think is only here to manipulate because she has a job. But obviously in that moment, I think to me at least, where she's like pretty much begging Denji to say yes to falling away with her, because then that would also give her an excuse to finally use whatever power she has to get out of the situation. I mean, she eventually says, which is another great part of the kind of foreshadowing of who Makima is or might be in the future, you know what I mean? Is like, even then she was like, I don't even think we could have run away, since now I know you were rolling with Makima pretty much. Like, even I'm as powerful as I am. And you can see that throughout the entire film, especially the second half. Bomb lady, bomb woman, and Reze, terrible combination. Whoever put them together, well, terrible for the world, great for Reze. Or maybe not even great for, it's just bad all around, except for the people that control her. So yeah, you can tell in that one moment where she's like really begging him before she snaps into, I think, sleeper agent mode again. And she's like, all right, got to go back to killing my boyfriend. You know, this was a fun, it was like 48 hours. Like Denji fell for her in like a week. It was like, this is like the 5th time that he showed up to that cafe. Oh, shout at the cafe. That was such a fun setting.
Yeah, it was very quick. Yeah, she was like, the food's not that good here. You know, that
I was like kind of kicking my feet. I was like, oh my God.
Even though you knew it was going to happen, right? Yeah.
But like, he's there for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, I shout out Reze's skills for making it look like she was actually studying. Because apparently wasn't in school. Was just given fake geometry. If my job made me do fake math just to like give the allure that like
it's so funny.
Ridiculous.
They go to the freaking that's when you know, like the moment where I was like, oh yeah, like Denji's cooked right now is when they go to they're at the school at night, and then she's like, what's 1 + 1?
Oh my God.
2. And she's like, you're right. And I was like, okay, she's right here. By the balls,
balls
right now. Yeah, again, it's just, he's got to learn, you know, like the whole like blind trust in someone, like, you know, you can't like trust this because like you didn't earn it, sort of thing. You know, it didn't come at any like price. You didn't have to work for it. And it's like, if you're not working for it, you know, something's up here. Something's up here. Like, you're getting scammed right now. Denji gets love scammed.
Throughout this entire movie, like beginning to end, nearly with multiple women. I mean, that's the thing. Multiple girls and women, like he's getting like just mentally abused pretty much and taken advantage of. I mean, that kind of brings us up to one of my favorite moments of the movie, where if you didn't kind of pick up that Reze was kind of sus from the beginning, you have the subplot Typhoon Devil, this crazy serial killer man, and serial killer man is out here trying to get Reze, and Reze is for some reason still trying to play up the fact that she is not who she actually is, and then up until the final moment is not only enough to take out the serial killer just like in like a second. Like, she basically gets Typhoon Devil to just like bow down to her because of how powerful she is. That scene where she starts singing Russian, I'm gonna throw it up on the screen how it looks in the manga. One of my favorite adapted moments, because you're just kind of like, oh my god, this is like shocking. I mean, even Jonas was just kind of like, yeah, I didn't even pick up because that did not sound Japanese. Like, even in like the regular like subbed version where it's like straight from the country of origin, like I would be like, damn, what language is this? But no, there's a lot going on with Reze and kind of like her whole backstory alongside Denji, very parallel. But I do kind of want to talk a little bit about generally the whole, not only the cinematography of this movie, the backgrounds, the main like fights that are animated. There's a lot of beautiful music in this movie, and it's really zany too. I mean, we talked about how loud the IMAX showing was. I wasn't sure if y'all had the same experience as us if you went and saw it in a special format, but my God, when oh my, I have to look it up. Same guy who did the first season opening Kickback, Kenshi Yonezu, with Iris Out, that was bumping. I was like, damn, we're really in for a zany, horrific field time for the next like 2 hours.
I wasn't expecting to see like an opening, like an actual opening.
That was great.
That was cool. I wasn't expecting to see basically just like a big like episode TV.
Seriously,
it's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Which was nice. It was loud, but honestly, what the one battle showing we saw was way louder.
Oh, dude, that's what I was saying. Like, it was just prepping
significantly
us for how
louder.
Crazy it is.
Yeah, I know what Huey was like. He was kind of plugging his ears because it was pretty loud. But like, I think we've just seen so many movies in there. It did not faze me at all because I'm just like my ears
after another. You said was like equally loud.
My evolutionary it was louder. One battle was definitely
louder.
One battle was definitely louder. Yeah. But I feel like I just have like an evolutionary adaptation now to the South Center IMAX theater. It's however loud it is, that is what it is.
Well, is that bad? Like, should we be wearing earplugs when we go into these big theaters?
One battle, they said it was like, oh yeah, it's louder than normal. So like I was prepared for it.
Yeah.
Even more than
Paul.
usual. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. I'd love to see a conversation between PTA and Fujimoto. I mean, hey, you chuckle, but that's the man right there. Fujimoto, I mean, man, I was telling you, like, whenever you're reading the manga, sometimes he'll throw in like movies he really likes, and in one of the chapters in Reze movie, I have marked here that he said he likes Coraline. Great Halloween, happy Halloween, happy fall.
I haven't seen that.
Oh wow,
I haven't seen Coraline.
We're gonna have to watch Coraline.
I've seen
it's a great movie. I forget the name of the animation studio, but they're great because it's like the claymation kind of style. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
The only
I might throw it up here. I'm just gonna throw it up here.
I know Leica is one, but I don't think they I don't think they did Coraline. I have no idea. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. You know what? I think they might have done Coraline.
In post, we will see it.
I'm pretty sure it's Leica.
I'm going to put it right over Chris's face. Just so like
you'll see if it's right or wrong. Right now, you'll see if it's right or wrong. Yeah.
I'm going to love it. I'm going to love editing that later. But yeah, the music is great too because it's also generally, I was like, what is the vibe of this movie and why does it feel so good? It's by the same guy who did not only Dandadan. See, I think he did season 1 of Chainsaw Man, but he definitely did Dandadan and The Colors Within, another movie we saw earlier this year that was kind of fun. But yeah, Kensuke Ushio is just really killing it in this with a lot of pianos, a lot of heavy synths. I mean, nothing I think can really tell you more about Chainsaw Man than maybe the music that does come along with it. It's insane. I mean, this entire world's crazy. It's a hellish world where everything is horrifying left and right, but then you have little moments where you're got our boy eating a flower because he's so damn happy. That's just like a little uncanny. Like, does this world kind of feel uncanny to you in a way where it's like, could we even see this? Like, is this even like something that could be fathomed that you and your human brain could be like, we could live in this world one day?
Well, I think about that about The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
The Boys is the one world where I'm like, okay, that seems like a much more like feasible world that also looks horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Like freaking like, state-sponsored, private company-sponsored superheroes just flying around and they could kill you at any point.
Any point.
That's what I was thinking when you're talking about that situation. Like, that's the one world where I'm like, no,
So you're taking no on the boys. I'm taking no on Chainsaw Man.
I'm taking no on Chainsaw Man too.
On both of them.
I'm taking no on all of it. Like JJK, like Shibuya.
Oh hell no.
Like if you lived in Shibuya, like your entire bloodline is gone by the end
GG's.
by the end of that arc.
Didn't even tell. Cleaved and sliced. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sukuna. Oh my god, the power to be able to slice everything in existence. Shout out season 3 coming up here. We saw a trailer for that. Execution arc. Oh my god. Again, someone check on the MAPPA illustrators. I mean that genuinely. They are getting put through the ringer right now. I do want to talk a little bit about best friend, as the internet is currently referring to him as best girl. Beam, one of the best guys you'd probably want with you in any fight. The Shark Fiend himself. Also voiced by Natsuki Hanai, Tanjiro, and Okarun. Come on. Did you ever think he was going to be the guy to play the zany character like that, just screaming Chainsaw-sama the entire
he's
time?
he's very different than those guys, for sure.
He's like the best of the fiends. I mean, like we love Power. I love Power. I think there's a lot to be done with her character in the next arc, probably. But this is kind of Beam's time to shine.
Yeah, I was like, he's like absolute loyalty.
Absolute loyalty to
Denji.
Lord Chainsaw. Well, as we wrap it up here in the last few minutes, Chris, I feel like we do have to talk a bit more specifically about generally how great the animation is from MAPPA. Always have to mention, pay your guys. Get your people going, because MAPPA obviously has a history of abusing some of their animators, but what studio apparently in Japan hasn't? And it's just something generally, save our animators. They're doing the Lord's work. They're doing the Lord Chainsaw Man's work in this movie, because they absolutely cooked. And I want to fucking talk about that for a few minutes, because my God, you talked about it already a little bit at the very middle part here with Reze talk in general, but hey man, like they went ham on this. You could see. What? I don't know. I think I'll throw up whatever the budget was, but it was definitely probably less than Demon Slayer, and they grossed like 120 mil. Like insane in like its first week.
We are already doing an hour less movie.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Hour less of time, which at least to me, I was like, wow, okay, so we got written. There's no flashbacks. We talked about that, negative flashbacks in this movie. There's like maybe like whatever flashbacks there are, like 5 seconds. And it's just progress, even though it's not like overarching, whole lot of movement in the plot. We got really cooking here with the last third. Bomb Devil, one of the most just devious characters I've seen. So powerful and like so unapologetically about her power that she's just like, look, we could stop this at any moment, Chainsaw Man. But hey, what are your thoughts on the animation, especially as like that being one of the big selling points for someone trying to go and see this film, even if you're not a weeb, you don't see the season 1 of this show.
Yeah, I mean, the fight scene was very Shibuya, very JJK Shibuya. There's tons of just
wiped them off the map.
Wide scale destruction of the city, to the point of like it's burned beyond recognition. Like the transformation from Reze into Bomb Devil, it kind of reminded me of like Sky High.
Oh, shout out Sky High.
The whole thing of Sky High, that's what I was thinking about the whole time, where it's like, oh, you know, this older, I guess they're not older, they're the same age, but like the girl's like kind of manipulating the guy to like get what she wants. And then like she's like the main villain, and she has like a suit, she has a mask, and all this other stuff, and like voice modulator. That's kind of what I was getting. A lot of like, this person is very like naive, but like has some ability or something that she needs.
Yeah,
and is willing to use like flattery to get it. And then obviously in this one, like again, the battle's way different. It's not in a school dance hall, but like it's in a city, and yeah, it's I mean, no pun intended, like super explosive.
Oh my!
I mean, everything is just a bomb, just explosion, just explosion, nonstop explosions.
Particular shout out to when Reze sets off her neck and then grabs it here so that her head blows off, and then she becomes 2 separate, just crazy ass devils running at people. When you use the head as a bomb, a grenade, that was crazy. I was like, come on, taking out the entire 2nd division like that.
Yeah. Well, funny, like she tries to use like flattery as the first thing, and she's like, well, that doesn't work.
I don't really, and that's like the entire time she's like, I don't want to kill y'all. Like she knows, she's walking in there like LeBron. She's like, I will dunk on you.
Yeah.
Like don't test me. And I mean, that's what's really great about this, because there's so much especially if you take into account that half of the fight scenes happen with this massive typhoon and like tornado happening, kind of akin to what you were saying with Shibuya and JJK, just the center of this city. And then at least like this is some of my favorite parts about Denji as a character. Like he is literally just a frothing at the mouth 7-year-old, again in a teenager's body, but he can justify and make sense out of when he's got to be kind of the hero. And his whole like motivation has always been like, I just want to be the guy. Like he's not like doing this for any righteous reason, right? That anyone should pull a direct story out of, or like a life lesson. But he's like, yeah, if we don't take out the big boy, the big baby here, the whole city's going to be decimated and we won't even have a chance at Bomb. But yeah, no, the way that they animate everything, I think the 7 or 8 different animation styles you see throughout the whole thing, again, akin to some of the best parts of season 2 of JJK, especially the big Maharaga fight with Sukuna, is just very similar. Kind of like this, I don't like watercolor isn't the best way to say it, but it's that type of animation where it's not super rigid outlines, but it's like the painting is kind of moving across like a screen, right? We talked about it a little bit, but there's even that like one scene, my favorite scene. I obviously won't be able to throw it up here for copyright reasons, but when you watch the film, there's something in the middle of the main fight between Reze and Denji where everything goes super saturated red because everything's just about to fucking explode. And Denji is still like a madman in there trying to take her out, even though he's no match for her and her background in fighting. But I mean, it's wonderful. I even love the music in it is great, Chris. I like the kind of mix from techno house beat to basically just orchestral operatic singing. And that's kind of what it was like. They met it. At the end of the day, Chainsaw Man is cinema. Like, it's absolute cinema. Gonna have to throw that up. We talked about it before. That shit came from the Chainsaw Man community. But it is absolute cinema. It's something that I think everyone should get a chance to go out and see before it leaves theaters in whatever format you want. It's a special story that I think keeps its strengths and how simple the relationship between Denji and Reze are. And it's something that I don't think they were possible at failing at, because I really like season 1. I'll probably give season 1 like a 4 out of 5. Probably like it's jarring. It's a different type of animation style than what you get in this movie. But I think this type of change in direction is really strong and kind of lines it up for, oh my God, Chris, what happens after this? I was telling y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. I'm happy Jonas is not editing this one because he do be hating when I almost maybe spoil something, which is fair. But y'all ain't ready for what comes after this arc. It's the perfect primer arc, I think, for the rest of the story. Some of the biggest stuff that you're going to pull out of Denji's life after losing Reze. I mean, and the movie obviously ends with power, so it's like we're just kind of back to the batshit crazy life that Denji lives, right? But I don't know. I obviously, we've talked a lot about the movie today, how much we love it. Animation, music, voice acting, it's all great. Obviously, MAPPA is killing it. But do you have any final thoughts on kind of where this movie like leaves us? Where the final like little bit is? Like, how do you even, what are you pulling out of the beach scene? Because the beach scene is something that I thought about for a while kind of afterwards. That's what made me believe that Reze at a certain point did just want to run away with Denji, but she's like, I really can't. Even if I wanted to do this, like I have no power to.
Yeah, I think it's just, it is a thing in movies too. It's like, you know, there's like, it's like a product of circumstance. That was very like La La Land, I guess. Is what I'm thinking about, like product of circumstance. Like they're, even though like, you know, it's very one-sided in Chainsaw Man, but it's the whole thing of like, oh, you know, the world's pulling us in different directions.
Yeah.
And yeah, Reze is like, you know, I don't like you. But yeah, I think deep down, like she really does. Like, you know, she definitely does.
Like a protecting thing versus like actually telling you how
like,
I feel.
Defensive, being like, you know, I just want the advantage over you, even in this, even though you resurrected me and all this.
Such a cheap teenage emotion to just be like, I have to be like protective of these emotions.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets me, Chris, every time they hug, because I think that's the most genuine part of the movie is at the very end where she just runs up and hugs him and then karate chops him asleep. He's like yelling at Beam, get me awake. I got to run after my girl. Then he waited. He waited that whole day. Even the shop owner was like, she was not of this world. But man, shout out Denji for just being a trooper, because he just keeps it pushing. He's living a horror-filled life. What was never meant to be Reze and Denji. But where does that leave us, Chris? I guess I already asked for your final thoughts, so how about I ask you about your final rating? And then any other final thoughts you have at the very end of this?
4.5.
Come on, let's
4.5 out of 5. Again, because of its value as a self-contained thing.
Yeah. I
could speculate on what happens later, and you obviously already know. But honestly, I don't really care that much. Like, it's just because, again, I was there to see a good movie. And it's a very good movie. Like, if you just, again, like I said at the beginning, if you want to just go from start to finish, like this is your only exposure to Chainsaw Man, I would recommend it. I would recommend it like highly in that way. You don't have to get too involved with it. You know, you don't have to get too intimate with the you know, in going into anime, because I certainly like I'm not that type of person. But I do like me a good movie, and this was a good movie. So
incredible. I mean, hey, drum roll right here, because this is my first 5 out of 5 for a new movie that's come out in 2025. That's a 5, folks. I mean, there's no surprise for me. I mean, I'm sure if you've seen these episodes or if you know me, this is the type of shit that is down my lane, and they've lived up to every expectation I had. And like I said at the beginning, it's like 110% meeting those expectations. So not only have they met the expectations, they have gone far and beyond in certain aspects I really love, like especially I've waxed poetic about the movie's music, kind of just the ambiance, like how gentle it can be at times, how horrifying it can be at others. Again, even the NPC characters in this film, I feel for them because it's just like a terrifying world to live in. So many of them die, but at the end of this whole story in this terrifying world they live in, it's all kind of about how Denji is like trying to like not even self-taught. He's got a lot of great people in his life and bad people, but people like Aki and Power, you know, those are his main like 1-2 punch of like brother and sister type characters in this entire story. And they're just people that aren't even a huge part of this film, which is awesome. I mean, you get a lot of stuff with Aki where it's like, damn, my boy's only got 5 years to live. You know, that's crazy. Power's not even in this for half the time. But you get a lot of stuff even with like, there's like no real characters from season 1 that come into play here for more than maybe 5 to 10 minutes throughout the whole film, which is great. And that's everything the Reze arc really deserved. And, you know, RIP my girl Reze. I mean, at the very end, I know my guy Angel's really looking out for Aki, but you know, I don't know what's up with him. I mean, I do know, but y'all find out. And I think where they leave it is really special. Because that alleyway, man. What did I tell you? That alleyway about to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Y'all don't forget how this movie started. Pochita said, don't open that door. That's where I'm just going to end this. Hell of a 5 out of 5 for me, Chris. But wow. Leaves us at the end of a very long discussion about another anime movie. I mean, we got one more coming up this year. Not really a movie. We'll still watch it. Probably talk about it. Execution Arc for JJK. The start of season 3 will be in theaters. But that's just the show spliced together with a little recap. Where this was an actual movie. So happy to hear a 4.5 out of 5 from Chris. We're gonna find a 5 out of 5 anime movie one day. Like that's coming out in the future. That's coming out in the future. You like some stuff from the past, and we're gonna have one coming up.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's like, nah. He's like, nah. I'm kidding.
I mean, this was really good.
This warms my heart.
Yeah.
This warms my heart.
Again, it's like an actual movie.
It's an actual movie.
It's an actual movie. Yeah.
We need to see this with Banton because obviously Banton was super disappointed. Not super disappointed, but didn't give the best score for Demon Slayer. And Bradley. So would you see this movie again one more time in theaters?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'd say I would.
Let's go.
A 4.5 out of 5. I'll definitely see it again. Yeah.
See us at the Dolby Theater soon. Not the Dolby Theater, but maybe. But yeah, that kind of leaves us at the very end of another episode of Pinoys versus the World, as always executively produced by Jonas Hyllseth. And I'm just going to end it by saying my name is Harald Hyllseth.
My name is Chris Angkico.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Pinoys versus the World. We'll speak with you in the next one. Peace. I like.
No, am I?
You.
Yes.
You.